Hey everyone, my name's Steven. Um, I'm an engineer on the cloud organization and working on growth. And typically I work on API docs. But today I want to show you something a little bit different. So one of the things that I've noticed is that users who are coming to Sourcegraph for the first time, will typically stumble across a repository, whether that's, through Google, they maybe land on a repository there, maybe they install the Sourcegraph Chrome extension, maybe they navigate to a repository through there. There are a lot of different ways that you can end up on a repository through Sourcegraph. Maybe you also just navigate to Sourcegraph and search for a repository here and hopefully land on that. Um, but it's very familiar for developers to kind of navigate to a repository as the first mode of getting to a piece of code. And so I think that this experience is really crucial to kind of a first time user coming to Sourcegraph. So, when you land on this page, I think a lot of people are asking themselves, what is all of this? If you have Code Insights enabled, then you would have this, but otherwise not. You get this file tree here that's a little bit strangely laid out. You get changes and stuff, but I think a lot of people would ask the question, like, why is this better than GitHub? Like, I think it's tricky to communicate that through here. And you know, as a power user of Sourcegraph, I've worked at Sourcegraph almost 7 years, and the thing that I've noticed is uh, I don't think I've ever seen somebody really use the repository page as the best way to navigate a repository on Sourcegraph. You'll get some people that will use the file tree here on the left, and it has nice keyboard navigation and stuff. But typically, I think people you know will land on a repository page, and then they'll start to use search from here. They'll use the file filter. They'll use maybe symbol search or diff or commit search. Those are the sorts of things that I use on a day-to-day basis. And the type of content that's on this repository page itself is, you know, really doesn't communicate that to people, really doesn't, make that experience clear. And like, I think that's, something that could be improved dramatically. And so, um, one of the things that I've done is for a hackathon project. So this is about a day and a half. Is kind of rethought how we do repository pages. So the first thing that I've done here that you'll notice is just really brought search to the forefront, because I think that making it clear that, like, hey, the best way to browse a repository on Sourcegraph is to search over it, is just super empowering. I think that people will get that. So making it clear that you can search for files here, making it clear that you can search symbols, commits, and diffs. People can experiment with those and try different things and stuff. Um, Still got the other options here, for API docs, batch changes, browsing code and stuff. So this is actually a new one, the ability to browse code. And this brings you to our traditional kind of, directory tree. Um, and what I would like for us to do eventually with this is bring this closer to what you would get, say on GitHub for the repository. So you have this kind of horizontal row-based layout for directories and files. I think that a lot of people are really familiar with that. That's kind of the same experience you get on GitLab and everywhere else. So that's what I would love to see there. But since this is just a day and a half hackathon project, I didn't implement that. So the other thing that you'll notice on this page is you now get the actual README. I think that regardless of where you're at, um, when you're looking at a repository, you want to see the README, because that tells you how to get started, that tells you what it is. This is true of GitHub and GitLab. So I think having the README on this page makes a lot of sense. So that's what I've put here. And basically the idea here is just, let's really make this a thing so that when a user comes to Sourcegraph for the first time and they search for code that they're familiar with, that repository, they land on that repository, really just use that as an opportunity to educate them about the best way to actually kind of navigate a repository on Sourcegraph. That's through search. So let me know what you think. I'm excited to hear the feedback on all of this. It's not perfect, but there will be details on how you can enable this and try this out if you're interested in that. So thanks.